Hello, Bart Simpson 67543 here, and we are taking a tour of Westgate, Iowa, which is a little town in Fayette County, Iowa. And you can see an old faded welcome sign there, and a sign for the West Central School indicating they were the 1997 Class A football champs. I happen to know that high school has been closed for many years, and for probably at least 16 years now. Driving into Westgate, it's depressing looking. It's very depressed. Unfortunately, for those of you who have never been to or live in rural Iowa, this is how a lot of these towns have happened. And over here we have the old Westgate Opera House, and just a lot of depressed buildings. This one was kind of cool. The brick building with the 3 boarded up windows is an old Chevrolet dealer, and that sign still says Chevrolet on it, faded. This is Hunt's Auto here. This is a used car dealership that's open. This is Main Street here. This is a Ben's Smokehouse and Pub. See the bank, bar, and grill, and old Pepsi sign up there, along with the American Legion and Phillips 66 sign, and the Westgate City Hall Library. And on the other side of this building is the EMS and the fire station as well. Over here we have the park, and along with some more houses. The population of Westgate is right around 200 people, so not very large by any means. It's a very rural community. Unfortunately, it looks to be one that is very much so, in the terms of houses and buildings, very much so stricken with poverty. But here, we'll go down here over by the restricted bridge. An old Amoco propane fuel tank there. We have an old Chevy Cavalier parked next to a shed. Again, we can see some more fortunately depressed looking homes in this community. This old bridge with a weight limit of 5 tons. And looks like some older farm buildings out this way, and some field sprayers out in the distance. And I'll just kind of loop around in here real quick. And this is Cannon's Greenhouse here. This is a business in Westgate. This is my first time ever being in Westgate, Iowa. I live not too far from here, about 13 miles away in Tripola, Iowa, which is a bigger community than this, but still fairly rural. And I'm such a history nut. I love going through these old towns and taking pictures and taking videos as well. I'm going to upload another video after this one. I'm taking a trip to Orrin, Iowa, which is a town about 10 miles from here. So I will upload that after this one, and we'll cruise through some more of this town yet. We have a house here that I believe at one point in time looks to have been a schoolhouse, just because of the very building, just kind of the building style and all the windows used. This is the St. Peter's Lutheran Christian Education Center, and it looks to be a church as well, so I don't know exactly all they do there besides the church. But yeah, this is another view of the town coming up on Main Street again. We'll turn over here, show their very tiny looking water tower that they have here. Surprising enough, this town does have city water. It does not rely solely on well service, and that is their little tiny water tower. And I will cruise over to that. Here's another very old looking, very unkept house. I said it before, I'll say it again, and I think this town, much like a lot of towns in rural Iowa and rural states in general, are suffering from poverty due to the lack of farms and farm families. And over there in the distance is the Westgate elevator, grain elevator. So we'll just cruise around in here, go up one of the other streets. Yes. Towns in rural states, like Iowa, that are largely rural, and towns in states like South Dakota and North Dakota and places like that have been declining for the past 30-40 years. This here is a used car dealership. As I said before, it's Hunt's Auto, and they have these vehicles. Used car dealership, as I said. And we'll cruise over and look at another street of houses here in Westgate. But I am such a history nut that I love these old. I love going through these small towns, like I said, and it's just a real joy for me to be able to live in an area with so much history, and so much history and these old buildings, and West Central propane tank painted there. But as I said, that I believe anyway, that school has been closed for a few years now. But I'll do my research on that and post that in description if I made an error. Again, I did not grow up here. Obviously, if the school is around, it's not in Westgate. It's probably in a larger town around here. I know some of the bigger towns around here, but I could not tell you what town exactly the school would be in. But I will do that research and post that in the description on this video. And there's a very old farmhouse here, probably turn of the last century. 1890 and 1900, when a lot of these homes were built in the late 1800s and the first couple decades of the 1900s. Some nicer looking homes next to some more distressed looking communities. Like this house here is looks very beautiful, very new. And then you definitely have older homes as well. Some older cars sitting out in front of this house here, an old Oldsmobile, and some smaller homes, trucks with rust on them, a lot of what you would expect in rural Iowa or a rural community in general. But I think that's about all of the town, so please subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. See ya, folks.